So yo guys, Steven Seagal lovers are here. Um, I wanted to start stream a little bit earlier. I was a little bit late because my wife didn't go asleep already. She drank a coffee for some reason in the evening. So now she's not asleep, of course. And I don't like her listening to me complain about Steven Seagal. She always jumps in and goes, how many views? Oh, how many watchers? This or that. Just, this is my thing. I don't want anybody whom I know watch me making fun of myself and everybody else. So yesterday we had a nice time watching some video reviews, and today I wanted to do the same thing with you guys, probably with your help. So yesterday we watched Into the Sun, and today I wanted to watch Shadow Man. Why not? As I told before, many times I guess, I don't watch video reviews on movies which I haven't made videos yet. So my point of view would be fresh, and in my videos I always show my first interaction with the movie. Usually I don't watch it prior to making a video. There was no movie I've made a video review which I have watched previously. There is always fresh reaction, and I wanna keep it fresh. So anyway, today I will start with probably RedEye review. How many Shadowman reviews do we have? So, Shadowman. Here we see, of course, Space Ice. Of course. There are some clips. Who else made a video review about it? Alright, yeah. Okay, and RedEye review. Oh, here am I? Look at it. This is my channel. This is me. Popping up in the first page when you Google Shadowman. Nobody Googles Shadowman, of course, let's be real. Shadowman finds you, not you. Not the other way around.
Shadowman.
Hiya, karate fans. It is time for another installment of Karate Corner, which we follow the career of our beloved Steven Seagal and his slow descent into the abyss in which he now resides. On this episode, we are watching Shadow Man, where the body doubles are abundant and the side characters forgettable. And there's a stunt double who worked on this movie whose name is Dickie Beer. Yeah, just thought I'd let you know about that, because I couldn't wait till the end of the video to tell you. But let's work our way through this masterpiece,
Dickie
because
Beer.
this is RedEye Reviews.
Good evening, Mariam. How do you actually pronounce this name? Greetings to Brazil, anyway.
Now, fun fact right off the bat. When this project first started, it was called Shadows of the Sun, and the head writer was Bay Logan, the guy who does a lot of Jackie Chan's movies. It was a period piece about Seagal as an intelligence officer who runs a medical clinic in Japan after World War II. Sounds pretty promising.
Who the hell
by
cares about
September
this
of
stuff?
05,
Bruh,
Logan could not
start the
stand
movie
project
already.
anymore, and he left it in the hands of good old Joe Halpin, who is the guy who wrote a lot of Seagal's movies like Submerged, Into the Sun, and Today You Die. It was
I don't
then
think
retitled
anybody
Shadows of the...
it it makes any sense. It makes any difference. Whoever wrote the scene, the script for Seagal movie, it doesn't really matter for anybody, especially for me, because they are all basically pretty much the same. The name is actually Jardin, Japanese, but never mind. Jardin? Is it Japanese? Jardin doesn't sound like Japanese to me.
He passed, and the entire story was thrown away and rewritten into this beautiful creation where he just kind of runs around and, punches people and sees naked ladies.
Hey, and this nick I can't even... Author. I guess author.
Oh, and then at the last second, Seagal wanted the title to reflect more of him as a person, so it was finalized and changed to Shadow Man. And any character this movie might have had, we lose to the abyss. So keep it in mind that this movie was almost a good movie.
Look at Mariam. He used to like Steven Seagal when he was a kid. Look at him and laugh.
Oh, also this movie has Imelda Staunton in it, aka Professor Umbridge. It doesn't make the movie any better, but, if she looks familiar, now you know. So former CIA agent Jack Foster, aka the Shadow Man, aka Steven I will kick you in the nuts Seagal. He owns a Fortune 500 company and has a daughter named Amanda. On the anniversary of his wife's death, they travel to Romania. Excuse, sir, can you get out of the shot and maybe close your mouth? You're making the whole place smell like old people. As they are packing, he gets a call from an old CIA guy who wants him to work for him.
You know what? You're gonna have to get a life, man. You embarrassed.
I don't understand what the whole point with this guy was, so I didn't even include him in my video at all, I guess, because at the end of the movie he just called him. The whole point of him was Steven Seagal called him at the end of the movie, told him something, and he just killed random scientists in a laboratory. I don't know why also. Maybe because they were developing a poison, and this is a death penalty for that. You want to invent a poison, you get a death penalty, according to Steven Seagal. And they murdered all of those scientists in a lab in the end of the movie. It was pretty insane, but it didn't make any sense at all.
There it is.
And it's probably not a great sign when Seagal is...
Sorry, my past is dirty, but I'm new, man. Yeah, start fresh, bro. Start fresh.
is telling you to get a life. But they arrive at the airport and he runs into another CIA buddy from the old times. At the same time, his daughter gets kidnapped by a cabbie and a bomb blows up in his limo. So a lot is...
I should actually try to watch his previous movies, because all I remember was Under Siege 1 and 2. So I didn't like any of those. But that's it. I didn't watch any. Maybe I saw some Above the Law, maybe some of them, but I don't recall any of them. I do remember him fighting terrorists on a boat, and probably on a train, yeah. I definitely saw it once at least. But any another movie, don't recall at all.
is happening.
Should
Him
give
and
it
his
a try.
friend give the cab driver chase, and Seagal picks arguably the smallest car in the parking lot. You're looking a smidge crammed in there, pal. Maybe a little more shoulder space would do you some good. During the chase, this motorcycle dude sells out hard. God damn it.
RedEye, you should have spent a little bit more time showing Steven Seagal waving his hands behind the wheel, because it was pretty dope. How he made grimaces and shaked his hands. and it was such a cheesy green screen behind them.
Man, wait, was that Dickie Beer?
In contrast to those stuntmen did a pretty nice job doing those stunts, like one of them jumped on the car, on a moving car from a moving bike.
My God, sir, if that was really you,
This,
you
yeah,
clearly
this
love your...
also is kinda... But I think they had some support on neck or something, because otherwise this looks a little bit lethal.
job.
Lethal.
Or you had a lot of head injuries, who knows? So the
Like
cab
deadly.
gets away and his buddy's like, hey,
So since... yeah, they're the insane very best, Steven Seagal. Yeah. Sorry, y'all, I didn't know, but I had no internet back then. Me neither, yeah. But we forgive you, bro. We forgive you. You're not alone in this little sin. I'm old, just like all of us. How old are you guys, by the way? I know, according to analytics, how old some people on my channel. Mostly it is 35 plus. Majority, like 70% is older than 35 years.
hey, let's go to this old safe house, lay low.
I don't know
for
how to
some
say
reason.
lethal.
They do
lethal.
so, and then once there,
lethal,
Seagal's
I
like,
guess.
yeah, I don't trust you.
Round 28? And you call yourself old already? Bro, you should reconsider your attitude about yourself. Hey, 28, it is... You're like a boy still. Here we go. Landon Hardy 37, Harold Ellis 57, you see? And it is... And I don't consider 57 old still. But 28, it is like a little boy, bro. 40. Yeah, this is...
Like, seen you in years, and when I do see you, my daughter gets kidnapped. I don't know why I sound like a old lady smoker right now. But my daughter gets kidnapped and my car gets bombed. And he's like, huh, me? No, that's crazy, man. Hey, I'm just gonna step outside, real quick. Just cool off out here.
Yeah, what was this? Can anybody explain me why Steven Seagal locked him in the room? He just sat there and watched the guy he just recently accused of kidnapping his daughter, and he watched him going away with a vague smile, like Steven Seagal, contempted smile. Yeah, go ahead, close the door. In a completely random palace. And by the way, what's the point? What's the whole deal with these shootings in palaces? There was apartment of this taxi driver lady, but rather than that, they always switched places from one palace to another. I mean, really fancy palaces with columns, like museums. Oh hey, Brian M. Hello to Kansas City. So plot, according to you don't know. If you don't know plot, you should really watch my video review. I generally stick to the plot without a lot. RedEye review also, by the way, sticks to the plot, so you can actually try. I don't know, by the way, if you guys watch my videos and you haven't watched Steven Seagal movie which I'm reviewing, which I assume you haven't, because nobody with sanity would watch them if he doesn't have to make a video about this. So, do you actually understand the plot, the continuity? What is going on? I mean, at that extent as it makes sense, because many times it doesn't make sense anyhow. For example, here I didn't understand what the hell had happened, why everybody thought that Steven Seagal carries around the recipe for the poison with him when he didn't even know about its existence. Well, no, he did know about its existence, but he didn't know that he carries it with him. And it was so tiny, like a piece of sand, hidden in a stylus of his old laptop. Do you remember those pocket computers? And they had styluses. I think everybody back then thought that it would be kind of future. I remember my friend having this pocket computer, and I thought, holy crap, how dope it is, because all I had was this book-like cell phone, which you cover it up like this, and here you see a screen, and they were, I don't know, remember, but there were already some colors on it, and I watched this pocket computer just like in this movie, and I thought, bro, you're so advanced, like from the future. And now where are they now? So, and the guy was here to kill Steven Seagal, but he began to play Home Alone and made some traps for them. They were pretty insane. Kind of those you don't want to repeat at home because they are too stupid and won't work. Only palaces have enough space. Steven Seagal. Did Seagal write this also? No. Steven Seagal wrote a screen. This. I don't think that Steven Seagal has written anything except for that notorious post when he told to Reddit, "This is actor Steven Seagal. Ask me questions." And received a pile of garbage in response from all over the internet. Maybe even this post wasn't written by him actually. Easy. I meant plot convenience. This is the excuse for everything that is happening in this movie and in many others. I'm old enough to have watched Sensei Seagal on the big screen. My condolences, bro. Imagine watching this movie, for example, on a big screen. I remember my first movie on the big screen was Universal Soldier. It has been just released back that time.
Seagal MacGyvers some stuff real quick, as he has wanted to do, and then these guys come in and try to kill him. But he messes them up pretty good. He heads outside to confront that shitty friend, who then informs him that he is after Seagal because they think he has MK Ultra on him. And no, not the military program called MK Ultra.
This is so easy in Steven Seagal's movies. All the time, all information he needs, everybody just willing to tell him with no hesitation. He just walks in to random people, to random places, asks questions, and he gets everything he needs. Good God, this movie is awful. Maybe it is not the worst. From what I've watched so far, let me check which I would rate as the worst one. Every time I think that that the movie I'm making video for is the worst one, but then I come up over yet next movie, so I wouldn't consider the movie I'm working on right now currently. So yeah, I would probably hold on so you could see what I'm looking at. So if Steven Seagal would put a gun on my head and ask what was the worst movie you have watched, I would probably flip between these two, Out of Reach and Code of Honor. They were god awful. But in Code of Honor he was already too old, actually, too old for, and way too bloated. And I can't consider it as an action movie with Steven Seagal because he just appeared there randomly with a sniper rifle and shoot some people randomly also. But most of the time we had to watch that another agent, Parker or someone. As for Out of Chairs, Out of Reach, yeah, I would consider this one to be the worst Steven Seagal's movie. Because it was so embarrassing to watch him writing letters to young girl, then like take them to his home at the end of the movie, where they had to just sit over a fire, waiting for him to catch whoever he was catching there. That's not the best way for children to be raised, I guess. They need some socialization. Not an old bloated penguin. There is no Donnie, so I can actually make some jokes about penguin. And also that the whole movie plot was so ridiculously bad. He wrote those letters to a young girl, then went to another country to save her because fuck you, that's why. Do these movies even get released on DVD? I guess so, yeah. I would really appreciate if they were released on DVD with some behind of the scenes, because when I made videos about making of Belly of the Beast, no, Exit Wounds, but Belly of the Beast, it was really cool to watch Steven Seagal behind the scene, how they were made, and to know more about him behaving on set. You obviously haven't seen Attrition, have you? No. I've seen only movies which I've made videos for. I didn't watch any of them besides. I agree, Code of Honor is the worst. But this is like really late Seagal. If we talk about like special ops where he only appears for 5 minutes, you can't actually say that it is a movie with Steven Seagal. He doesn't even sit there. There are some random people doing something, and this is nothing. If you want to watch a movie with Steven Seagal, you want to watch him doing cringeworthy things and ridiculously grimacing his face, waving hands, maybe, who knows, maybe sometime running, why not? But watching other people doing random stuff is kind of boring. And that's what we are talking about when we talk about movies after 10th. That's why I actually for now specialize on making reviews for movies from his zeros. I think that it was the golden age of Steven Seagal. Not 90s, But those movies are really fun to watch. Like they have a real good comedic potential, like Neil Breen's movies. Too bad no one ever made a movie about that time at Sylvester Stallone's house, where JCVD, right, was about to tear Seagal's head off. Do you mean like making of, behind the scenes, so to say? I would love to see that. Yeah, I would love to see if anybody actually has any footage of Steven Seagal showing how tough he is in real life. Because from what we see, there is an insecure, bloated penguin without any skills. No acting skills, no martial arts skills, no physiques. Any action star has at least one of those attributes. If he has two of them, it is good enough. For Arnold Schwarzenegger, it was he had at least really good physiques. And I don't know about his acting abilities. I can't judge people of their acting abilities if they are not awful. That's why I'm not an Oscar committee. So for me, it's decent. It is okay. In our country, we always watched movies dubbed, so you can't really say how good or bad an actor plays, because there is always a dubbed actor who plays alone and he adds something new to his character and alters them pretty much. So it is hard. Till I was like, I don't know, 30? No, not 30 of course. But okay, so till the middle of Zeros, I didn't even know that Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold Schwarzenegger had accents. I thought they spoke pure English. I have never watched any movie with them speaking without dubbing their voices, so I didn't even realize that they were foreigners. So yeah, I didn't know that Jean-Claude Van Damme was from Belgium. I thought he was from America, and thought that he spoke pure clean English. What was that rant about? Nothing. So Steven Seagal behind the scene would be classified as a crime evidence for what he does to women, lol. We have a lot of evidence in his movies, actually. There is a lot to say about his behavior towards women. Towards anybody else also, but he is pretty clear in his movies and his messages. When we talk about Steven Seagal, we know that he doesn't play. He all by himself confessed that he doesn't play, that it is him, actually him on the screen we see. And it is always a douchebag. By the way, his early work was not as high dose. Yeah, about his early works, I don't know. I'll give it a try. Maybe I will come up with some. Maybe they are fun to watch too. At least I heard about Patriot. Some good things in this regard, in comedic regard, I mean. By the way, up until he managed to outdo himself with attrition, Kill Switch, I haven't seen any of those. Kill Switch was his worst movies, but he managed to do even worse than that and came up with attrition. Does he appear a lot in this movie? Because if he doesn't, it will be very boring for me to make a video about that. Try to cut out the all scenes with the other actors in his movies, because It is like watching Neil Breen without Neil Breen. He doesn't speak, doesn't kick, can't walk around, and all the rest is also done by stunt doubles. Right, yeah, that's what I was talking about. Right, it really surprises me how did he manage to make so many movies? Who invited him to make them? What was the brilliant idea of a guy who was willing to spend like 15 to 20 million dollars on a movie? Because according to IMDb, that's the average how much they spend on movies. Like 15 to 20 million dollars on a movie with the guy who can't even act, can't fight, can't do anything, can't even walk or stand, who treats people like shit. So this actually makes Steven Seagal a very unique person in my mind. The episode of Seagal is Jackie Chan. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he can act pretty good. I can remember him playing obnoxiously overacting in comedic things, but it was kind of common in Asian movies, so it doesn't speak about him as a bad actor. But Jackie Chan, this is completely another story. That's the guy who made the best movies, I guess. In martial arts and action movies, Jackie Chan is not outdone by anybody. This is like the best, the best action movies. Hell yeah. That's pretty dope coffee.
In this movie, they named a biological weapon MK Ultra. I kind of feel like somebody on the writing staff probably just Googled government secret projects. They saw MK Ultra and went, well, that needs no further investigation there. Let's just roll with that.
MK Ultra, but what's the big deal with this name? I guess it sounds like a. What do you guys think? MK Ultra for a poison, like or biological weapon, whatever. It was like a little piece of sand, anyway.
So the CIA are after him, and the FSB, which is basically the KGB, and they just didn't want to say KGB in this movie for some reason or another.
Because KGB didn't exist for a decade and a half by that time. It was FSB, right? Which is basically KGB. But KGB doesn't exist anymore.
These FSB dudes that stole his daughter. And they won't let her go until they get that evil biological MK Ultra goodness. They go to the embassy, they talk to Professor Umbridge, and she's like, you guys should
Who
probably...
the hell? Professor Umbridge? I haven't seen this guy. I don't remember him in the movie at all.
Find Seagal's daughter. And they're like,
The ambassador just talked to random people, and this guy also, he is pretty cruel and has his own agenda, but I didn't understand his agenda as well. He wanted to pass the biological weapon to anybody. All this movie plots scheme when they are chasing some secret chip or secret recipe always made me wonder what's so special about that.
Yeah, really? Thanks. Okay. That makes sense. The
Like,
cab
this is the only copy that only one person has. It doesn't have any additional copies. There are a lot of guys in the lab working on this poison who were killed after that. None of them had anything to do. Only in this piece of sand. How did it's called? I will call it piece of sand anyway. You understand? It was like very tiny thing.
driver who stole her then tells Amanda a very calm story. You know, keep her relaxed so she doesn't try to run away.
They managed to get hold of my husband and my daughter, and their bodies were found a year later.
All right, maybe not that calm. Don't tell an 8-year-old the story about your family dying. Crazy idea. I don't know. The CIA.
She already kidnapped her, lied her by telling, I didn't kidnap you, I saved you. Why not telling her about the death of her family? This is the least awful thing she had already done.
A guy goes to meet Seagal and basically tries to betray him again, which goes over super well.
Oh? No. The same thing he has made in like 3 movies with Steven Seagal. He does it again? Even though he actually told Steven and that he is working for other people. Betrays him? What a douchebag. Who could have thought about him?
And then they lost.
Anyway, the guy. Ah, yes, this was the guy. Okay, yeah, okay, I saw him. He hadn't any arc in the movie. He just killed friend and then got killed by Steven Seagal. That's the whole story about this guy. That was his purpose in life.
We lost him.
Yeah, he lost Jack.
You lost Jack.
He lost Jack.
I lost Jack.
Meanwhile, Jack got a lead to go and investigate the totally not KGB. He goes inside and he's like,
Again, the palace. You see where drug dealers sit waiting for their customers because all of their customers look like Steven Seagal, walking like a penguin in a castle, flashing his money. That's how junkies look like, right?
What happened to him? Oh, freebase accident.
wow, that's real unfortunate. The mask is kind of cool, though. A little purge for my taste, but it's good. And then
They also, when Steven Seagal heard the reply that something cruel happened to him, I didn't really understand. Something like really happened. Seagal like sat there. Yeah, it was like Tommy Wiseau. What a story, Mark. Hey, he beat the shit out of this girl close to death. What a story, Mark. It was something like that because Steven went with laughing about a guy. He doesn't understand the empathy. He doesn't understand how to react to things that happen to people because maybe he's a psychopath.
all get into a fight.
What a crazy reaction is to laugh at a guy who got so terrible injury that he has to wear mask.
Oh man, that's not a freebase accident. That's syphilis.
Ugh, an entire face full of syphilis. Oh, is that?
Steven Seagal knows extremely well how syphilis looks.
At all? Is that a real thing? Does syphilis grow on
Very
your face?
familiar.
I wouldn't know, and I'm not about to start Googling pictures of syphilis, so I'm just going to keep moving.
How are you? Things are good?
This old lady's reaction time, yeah, just a little delayed. That's okay.
And why the hell Steven Seagal had to kill her? I still don't understand. She waited for him to leave the room. After that she started to shoot, maybe to show mafia that she did something to protect their money, which they made her counting right in the next room behind the one where they sit and relax, selling drugs to junkies. She was just sitting there behind the table, covered with money, and counting them.
Okay, you can get him next time.
At the very least, a narcissist. At the very least, yes. Narcissism is not, I guess, it's not the worst thing ever.
Holy hell, Seagal. I really don't think she was a threat, but good on ya, I guess. Put down old lady killer on your resume. Jack then heads to a club where he heard the cab driver hangs out, and surprise, surprise, she's there. Just clubbing while the daughter, I guess, is not trying to escape.
It was completely random when he told a random taxi driver where this lady who is driving, she has an English accent, but she drives taxi in Romania, so she doesn't speak Romanian. But do you know where she is? Oh yeah, I know where she is exactly, because that's the only thing taxi drivers know, I guess, where everybody is, and in which exact palace people sell drugs. Seagal took a page from Tarantino. Everybody has to die. He'd better take a page where Tarantino shows how to make dialogues. Free bases, nothing blah blah blah. Lol, but that guy actually had syphilis. There was no freebase accident. What a freebase? What is the freebase accident? I don't understand. It is connected to sports? I guess the scene can be considered inappropriately funny. I don't know. I didn't get the joke about the whole this syphilis thing.
Because she's probably asleep after listening to all those stories of people getting murdered. He follows her into the basement and calmly asks her where his daughter is.
Now when I rewatched the review of the movie, I remember it. It becomes really fresh in my head, and I remember all those things which drove me crazy when he just randomly starts to choke her. It was so random. You wouldn't kill me. Oh yeah, I would. You're not that bad. Girl, you see him for the first time of your life. He just ran into a girl's restroom. What makes you think that he is not that bad? Especially when he tells you that he is actually. Look at him!
Or just straight start torturing her. Dude, I really don't think you're a good person in this movie, bud. Try to convince me otherwise, but it's not looking too good. Then some other dudes show up and they're...
So what was the whole point of choking her to death? Would it help him to find his daughter at the very end?
They're like, hey, can we get in on that torture? And some of them aren't really about the torture stuff.
Yeah, there is a lady tied up on the chair. Why wouldn't we just kill her? Put a bag on her head. She is already tied up. Why not, right? You just can't pass a woman tied up without choking her.
So they leave.
That's how FSB works.
Seagal and the lady then fight together and
Proudly.
escape those guys, and now they're friends. Yeah, the lady who stole his daughter is a friend now. And she claims some bullshit. She's like,
And guys, what's your theory about this? He choked her, but then without anything else going on. They just boom and become friends. And she tells him her secrets. After that they hang out. She walks in front of him with her bra. What was that? How does it work? And why was this that in the movie? Does anybody who read the script actually wait for a little bit, at least for a second, stops there and just thinks, what the fuck? How can we gather so many people, cameras, and people who sit instead of Seagal, those people who make makeups, we gather them all, make producers, like make DVDs with covers, make actual discs, and let when they make it, how can it be producing? I don't understand how the movie making of works at this point, I guess. Maybe those are different people who shoot different scenes, because it is clear, but sometimes, very often, there is in one scene it is so stupid that anybody on set could have just walk in and tell, bro, don't you think that it is completely dumb? Are they all so dumb? It is like casting people for a Steven Seagal movie. We are looking for operator, for screenwriter, and the whole crew, the whole staff. But the main term, your IQ should be lower than 70.
It's like, oh, I'm protecting her because the KGB would probably kill her by this point. I mean, I don't know if they're crazy. And I don't know if you know this is just for you. But some of your CIA friends, super corrupt, by the way. They're planning on selling MK Ultra on the black market. And we're in quite a pickle, you and I, two best.
Okay, I get it. The actors are rented. When the rental ended, the characters had to be killed. Or probably they also asked them, can I please die closer to the beginning of the movie, to the shooting, because I don't really want to have anything there. Maybe I don't blame actors. I don't blame actors, but the whole crew behind the scene. Because actors, you're given a script, you go along with it. There's not much you can do about it. Was there a script? The scripts in his movies in the last 20 years are heavily influenced by him, which is why they are so terrible. But when you get the script in front of you, let's say you are a director, you read it, don't you think that you would ask, what the fuck? Bro, what the fuck is this? But if they are influenced during the production, during making of, on set, so to say, that would make sense actually. If at first it was something else, but then Steven walked in and made it something different. But from what I see, he doesn't care much about his movies, so probably the only thing he changes is, in this scene, you see, I'm standing. Let's add some chairs. That's the whole involvement in the script writing.
His friends here, don't just go ahead and forget I stole your daughter. And I'm not telling you where she is. And Seagal's like, hey, as long as you give her to me at some point, and, she's got the majority of her fingers and toes, then we're as good as gravy, baby. Delicious sausage. Gravy. None of that powdered shit. And then she's like, what are you even talking about? Could we get on with the plot synopsis? This video's already long enough. So the two of them go to find the KGB guy, and he's dead. Also, this
This is
corrupt
not
CIA
KGB, bruh. He didn't care a lot about the script as well as me. But this guy was... I think that this scene also,
guy, and he's
the
dead.
whole this subplot was worthy and separate video, because the taxi driver left the daughter of Steven Seagal to a handicapped person as a guard. If you are kidnapped and the kidnapper leaves you with a handicapped wheelchaired man who immediately goes away to another room, wouldn't you at least try to escape? And the whole plot, the whole arc of this handicapped guy on a wheelchair, I don't understand why did they make him on the wheelchair. Because all he did was, okay, I will guard her, yeah. And then he went away from the room. Next time we see him is here, lying on the floor with a bullet in his head. That's the whole arc. What was the point of to make him handicapped? Why? It is like making a sound producer deaf.
Also, this corrupt...
Or I don't know, a martial artist bloated and barely moving. It has no point.
CIA guy and another KGB dude elevate the situation.
Put that gun down.
Oh, you are a bad guy. You want some art. Maybe you want to be, God bless you, equal to Steven Seagal. No, you. Anytime you appear in front of Seagal, you just get a bullet in your head and that's it. That's the way to deal with the bad guys in movies. Remember, if, for example, Bloodsport was, if Steven Seagal was in Bloodsport, Chong Li would be beaten after he showed his knee, saying, "You've beaten my records, now I beat you." Without even crying mate. He is always the main producer to all of his movies, so I'm sure he gets to influence the scripts. Is he, though, producer of his movies? I think that somebody just invites him for the name. Why does he still has a name? Do you remember that actor Mark Dacascos, for example? Does anybody of you remember the Mark Dacascos? Because I remember the movie Driver. It was heavily announced on VHS cassettes. Many movies had the trailer for Driver, and I remember I thought it was sick. And what he made, he was pretty good looking, with kind of charisma. Where is he now? He's much more talented in all aspects than Steven Seagal, but still. And Steven Seagal makes 50 movies a year and produces his own movies. How does it work? He has pretty big influence on some parts of the scripts. Okay, alright, okay. Okay, now the mystery is resolved a little bit, because still there is a lot of influence. But I think that his influence is limited to, you want me to fight this guy? I wanna see it and just maybe point a gun towards to him. That's the whole thing. This is kinda influence because you, but not the story. making him work a little bit less in the movie. You should check out RedEye's interview with the director of one of his movies. It's very illuminating. Whoa, there is this? Oh An interview with the director. This sounds awesome, bro. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hatred for this, but regarding his martial arts skills, the man is good in that Aikido Japanese jiu-jitsu stuff that doesn't change what he is a person though. From what I've seen, all he shows is pushing people. All the work is done by those people who he's sparring with him, because they somersault, but all he does is at the very best running on the stage from them. Just stretches his hands, and the people just stumble upon them, somersault, graciously fall, and that's pretty much all his martial arts. When he is trying to show some moves, all he is mostly doing is like stretching his hand, somebody stumbles upon it, or he just makes this move, and you can see it in every of his movie where he at least tries to fight. He makes this move, and the guy just stumbles upon it and falls down. Otherwise, he only pushes people around. That's all he does, from what I see. And Aikido, just like many other martial arts, is for me more of a dancing, not like an actual fighting technique, because, Aikido is pretty much like jiu-jitsu also. It is more like dancing for men. Girls dance their girly dances, right? Ballet, tango, stuff like that. There are a lot of men who also dance those, but mainly girls like that. Men choose, because this is not manly thing to dance. I don't really think so. I like to dance shuffle, and shuffling pretty neat. But men mostly prefer to cover it dancing. They're willing to dance by this. I'm not dancing, I'm doing manly thing, martial art. This is all what it is. Because if you try to use this Aikido on the streets, it won't work. There were a few guys which I beat it. They were a good karate guys, like they were not black belt, but they were something, and they tried to throw legs on me and regretted it instantly. And I got beaten up by guys who didn't have any martial arts skills, but they knew how to throw a punch. The man is good at Aikido and Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. He's also very skilled with the Japanese sword. Can I please see where he shows these skills? Because this is what I hear from people over and over. He is pretty good with his sword. Where can I see it? All he shows is this with his sword. And this is it. He doesn't show. Sometimes he does like this. Rather than that, he only poses pretty ridiculously. Let's be real. because out of reach, this infamous standing poses of him when the credit roll, before the credit rolls. Rather than that, I only see him just waving the sword from one side to another, that's it. This is not a sword handling and knife handling. In Under Siege, when he is fighting with Tommy Lee Jones, everybody is so thrilled about this scene, but I don't really understand what's the big deal, because all he does is exactly like this in front of camera. Is this a good knife handling? It doesn't even look spectacular. Doesn't look... Yeah? I don't wanna actually to be a hater or something, but I really want to understand where can I see this Aikido, because I've seen Aikido from other people who made it and it looked fine. At some point I also just like I don't hate martial arts, don't get me wrong. I like to watch martial arts, I like to watch karate, kung fu, I like it. Choreography or sparring, it is like freestyle dancing. There is this style of dancing when you just like go along with the dancing. It is more like this, dancing in pair when it comes to karate, with a little bit more injuries. Alright. But when it comes to him, all I see is him pushing people and them somersaulting. I haven't seen any sparring match with a partner where there is at least Aikido. All I see is him demonstrating in front of students, and students are clearly aware that he can't do anything, so they are aware to not to make any trouble for him. That's it. That is where there's Aikido you're talking about. Seagal fights with cookies. He doesn't fight with cookies, he loves them. Yes, I know about Thomas's martial arts background. I don't know. Okay, Mark Dacascos still makes movies, and yes, he's one of those who I believe were treated very unfair by Hollywood. Thomas Ian Griffin is another. I don't remember Thomas Griffin, but I remember Mark Dacascos a lot, because I thought that he was going to become a huge star back those days. Maybe he chosen another path. I don't know what's with him right now. If he still makes movies, kudos to him. I'm really glad for the guy. There are a few videos with him since he was in Japan where he showcases his Aikido and sword, but also step skills. I saw those footages. This is not showing Aikido, this is him showing the moves in front of people who play along. It is not sparring, and it is... I don't know if you can actually tell that it is showcasing the martial arts, because the person is supposed to be not going along with the moves you are doing, but do something to defeat you. None of his opponents do anything to defeat him. He hasn't gotten any punch, any push. Nobody ever touches him. Everybody I've seen only stretched hands so he could pick it more comfortably. That's all everybody does. Yeah, Brian M. Well, a knife you got to be fast, not flourish around. Can you imagine fighting with knives? With actual, like this blade this long, like this, when the person also makes the same thing and it is going fast? Can you even imagine doing it? Both of you are going to be without hands in a mere seconds. With a knife you want probably to hit a person, not to wave it like this. Mark Dacascos still makes movies, man. Unfortunately, most go directly on DVD. That's not a very big problem if he still makes movies and feels fine. Steven Seagal also goes to DVD. He did appear in one of John Wick movies as well. I've seen one of the first John Wick movie, and I still don't understand what people find in them. What's the big deal with the John Wick? Maybe later they were becoming better. I mean, that line could only be his personal creation, lol. His hairline is his personal creation.
And my god, these bad guys are, well, bad at their jobs.
They are the worst at their jobs. The guy holding the hostages, but Steven Seagal doesn't shoot the guy who holds hostage because he doesn't care about her. Another guy was pointing gun at him. So what does Steven Seagal choose? To shoot the guy pointing gun at him, and only after that shooting the guy who held hostage. True hero.
What the hell? How are you alive? All the blood on the back wall? That's your blood, man. You're just gonna walk off a bullet to the chest? Okay, yeah. Okay.
He didn't only just walk off with a bullet in the chest. He called FSB, met them on the roof. Many hours later, he is standing in the roof, and the guys just went on the roof and killed him. This is the whole arc of the guy. But how comedic was that? With a bullet in his chest, he went to the roof, waited for them. Yeah, just take your time. There's a little accident here. Yeah, my chest, the heart, a little bit hurt, but take your time.
Okay. He calls his corrupt homeboy who wants to buy the bioweapon, and he's like, hey, meet me on the roof. I don't have the weapon, but maybe we can just chat or something. And he does, and they're obviously not happy with him. Oh, and he has a new suit on, somehow.
Yeah, like this. You see? He's standing there waiting for them to arrive with a bullet in the chest.
Real good, despite having been shot in the chest mere moments ago. Miraculous recovery there. Okay, dude, let me get this straight. How in the hell did you walk off a bullet wound to the chest and you get killed by a goddamn zip tie? Not just that, but a zip tie that this dude managed to tighten with one.
I think that they wanted to There's the bad doctors and they probably wanted to stop him from bleeding. And you're doing it wrong, bro.
Freaking hand. You are a complex character, and it's a shame we won't see more of you in this movie because you did. And here's my favorite part personally. It's so delicious. They arrange a meeting with the CIA guy to hand over the bioweapon and he can get his daughter back. Because I forgot to mention the CIA took the daughter from this chick's apartment while she was out getting wasted at the bars. So she has lost.
Now, when they were chilling in the palace. About the continuity. This girl has his daughter, but instead of just going straight there, where his daughter is freaking out in a dark room with a handicapped kidnapper, not knowing what the hell is going on, he just chills in the palace drinking some beer, some liquor, I don't know, whiskey or something, watching this girl walking in front of him in bra and having a good time. How did that happen? I don't understand.
All leverage at this point. But they go outside and there's a KGB
And this is very, they have audacity to say that this is Steven Seagal.
And there's a KGB helicopter waiting for him. And putting aside the fact that
This guy.
this dude is probably one of the worst Seagal body doubles I have ever seen.
He's not the worst, because we saw him, but this was the worst covering him up, because in this movie I think they can compete for a Guinness record for showing stunt doubles without any covering them up.
Except maybe this freaking dude from Clementine. Which, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. But that's supposed to be Seagal. But I can overlook that because of what happens next.
Clementine is on my radar.
A goddamn helicopter. Seagal
That's
just
not
took
the
down
first
a
time we see Steven Seagal blowing off a helicopter with just a pistol.
helicopter with a pistol. And not just took it down, but the thing freaking exploded into a million little pieces. We've seen a lot on this channel, folks.
I don't know what to say about that. Yeah, this... What were they
But this is
thinking?
by far the most impressive thing he has ever done. So they meet up at the public library, and they show his daughter to him. And I'm confused, because isn't this a public library? Is nobody seeing the little girl being held against her will?
Thank you. Thank you. They set up a meeting in a public library. In a library. What is the what could be the better place to set up a meeting with coverage, with a hostage, where you can speak? The best place, public library. Do you guys remember libraries? I don't see them anyway.
Seagal pretends to do the deal and instead just starts shooting people, proving even further that he doesn't really care about his daughter all that much. Maybe wait till she's safe before you kill everybody, but you know, whatever. And the lady who initially kidnapped her is a good guy, remember, because they have the girl now, and all of her leverage is gone. So she runs off to help save the girl. Seagal tiger strikes a dude in the face, yoinking the eyeballs out. I would pause on this, but it is far from the craziest thing in this movie. And then he fights the big bad boss, which is an old guy. Pretty easy fight, but you know, they can't all be winners.
Again, we were talking about his... This is not Steven Seagal. And by the way, this is not that old guy. I don't know if it is seen
But you know, they
in
can't all
his
be winners.
review. Yeah. Hold on. You see, this is not Seagal. This is not that old guy. Those are two completely different actors. what was it? About the Aikido, right. In all of Seagal's movies, everybody is just standing there pointing guns close enough to him. If they are not close for him to stretch hand and take the gun without any confrontation, they come closer to him all the time. And here the guy was pointing the gun at Steven Seagal, even though he was preparing for this move for like a lot of seconds. When you are in a fight, you know that if you are doing your faces, your opponent has a lot of time to see that you are going to throw a punch. And what Steven Seagal do? How do I know that he hasn't been in any real fights? Because he waves hands more than he actually fights. He makes grimaces more than actual punches. He doesn't do any punches also.
Yeah, he smacked the guy in the stomach so hard, I guess his back exploded. And, yeah, movie's over.
That's what I'm talking about.
Does ambassador and the embassy has the right to give passport for people on behalf of Steven Seagal? And is American passport the main reason for anybody to do like anything? You want our passport? I will speak for the government of USA. You want our passport? Just kidnap that girl. That's a good citizen. That's what a good citizen would do. Now you are a very valuable contribution for our country.
That's what I'm talking about too, because I am over this movie. Oh, and the last second he has a little heart-to-heart with his daughter.
Well, we had a couple of little glitches in Romania, but all in all, we had a pretty good time, didn't we?
Yeah.
They are having a picnic right in front of their house.
Glitches? You know, do you mean when you let your daughter get kidnapped and used as
You could think that they went to nature to enjoy the views, fresh air, but they are sitting in front of their house.
Of a biological weapon between the CIA and KGB? Oops, I'm so sorry, sweetie. It was just a little glitch in our vacation. But hey, I'm a good father because I bought you a pony. I also love how the movie ends on a still frame of his face. Like
That's not the only movie which ends up like that. Okay, let's see what was his reaction to
smile.
To different
it really
moments.
kind of makes it look like Seagal is dead, and this is like his in memoriam video or something. But we end there, and I do know for a fact he's not dead.
This is really cringy. It was also in Bed of the Beast. I think that it was ending like that. In another movie also, I don't remember right now. But it's so cringy when they out of reach. It ends up with him looking at a bird, I guess, or something. But there he is also so happy.
There's like 1,000 more movies.
What does it mean?
Goddamn ride that was.
Why do they freeze his picture of smiling or laughing and zoom it while
Now
credit
on
begin to roll?
RedEye reacts.
Sifu, I was very impressed with the way you broke the watermelon.
Jesus Christ.
I was very impressed. Out of context, it really sounds really funny. Good job, RedEye. Chewing gum, right?
Whatever you're chewing on, you've been chewing on it like the whole movie.
Jack! 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 Jack!
Hey, Harry. Hey, Jack. I want you to take me someplace where I can find
Oh,
some
hi, Mark.
drugs and some women. You know where I can get some of that?
Where was this line? This is the best part of the movie. I wanted you to drive me to a place with some drugs and some women. And the way he told that also, I like smacked it. Some women.
Cause I want to party. I wanted to see if I could get some of that. You know, I got a big party going on. I heard you guys have some great girls here, and I wanted to party.
I'm not even going to give you the context to this. I just think it's funnier this way. Yeah, you're really convincing us this is Seagal by only filming him from the waist down. Dude, you gotta be careful. That's like...
This is what I was talking about. The scientists were dying in the chamber. Not only the dude with the computer can kill scientists. Not only they work, like 10 guys of them were working on a place like this room. 15 square meters. He can just press some buttons on his keyboard and kill them all. That's the possibility of the guy whom we saw only at the beginning of the movie, and to whom Seagal told, "You gotta get alive, bro." Yeah, tell that to those scientists now.
You make like a buttload of green goblins.
And it ain't over. It ain't over till the wolf howls.
Ah, woo. I guess, is that a howl? Can the movie be done now? Oh, it is. Thank God. Well, that was it. That was Shadows of the Sun. Shadows of the Past. Nope, Shadow Man. Up next, we will watch Attack.
It's okay to switch names of the movies, bro. I don't see why making a laugh of that. They all didn't make any sense at it. Any of them. Shadow of what? If it's not a Shadow of Belly.
What in the hell is Attack Force? Is that like Delta Force ripoff or something? Also, this poster. Not really sure what's happening there.
Not really sure that it is the physics of Steven Seagal. Look how this head is much bigger than the body. They didn't even Photoshop it well. Guys, does it look a little photoshopped to you? With this lighting? With this size mostly. This is not Seagal, and this is Seagal.
Like, it's just some random dude's body and a very large Seagal head.
Yes, right.
Not just large, but like 20 years younger. Like, you know he looks like this in the movie, right? I'm just checking. Holy shit. Wait. Hold on a second. I just read what this movie is about. When aliens arrive on Earth to harvest human DNA.
What?
A special agent is assigned to destroy them without letting the public know they exist. Seagal's gonna fight some other flippin' aliens. I genuinely did not know this existed. And I just watched the trailer, and the aliens, they look like people with weird eyeballs, but I am still so excited.
Wow.
Aliens.
This sounds really, really interesting. Steven Seagal against aliens? What? So, lack of wokeism. Wokeism. Okay, is already a selling point to me for John Wick. Yeah. I'm a little bit tired of this. The whole thing pushing right in front of face. Like, okay, I got it. I got it. I know. Yeah, right. Don't point it at my face every time you have an opportunity. Especially when it contradicts with the plot or something. A simple lighting effect could have hidden the stunt doubles. They were so... those shots when they were right in front of camera. There is nothing you can do about it. Only to let them wear a hat with a big sides. Man, the scene where he blows up a helicopter with a handgun looks like one of the Looney Tunes cartoons seen with the extremely absurd occurrence. Pretty much. And the special effects of blowing a helicopter doesn't play alone. That in his case such scenes are not funny. They are pretty funny if you don't watch them in a cinema and paid some money on popcorn to watch them. Yeah, they pretty funny. And if you have to watch them to share this experience with anybody else, because if I would have to watch Steven Seagal movies alone, I think I would be enraged. I would lose my zen. Just like that time when I watched Twilight. It was like I was in university and my group was filled with girls. There were a lot of girls. And they were they told a lot about this movie, the Twilight, and I had no idea what it was about. And they just, yeah, this is about vampires. I thought, oh, vampires? Oh, tell me more about it. Yeah, there were vampires in the university and the stuff like that. Oh, and they begin to fight with the werewolves. I thought it was, well, it sounds a little bit like Underworld, but hey, I give it a try. Especially when everybody is hyping about it so much. And when I saw it, you can imagine what were my thoughts. I think that if I took any movie of Steven Seagal, and I was prepared, like I didn't invite anybody to that party, but I was prepared. I had some booze, had some snacks, a DVD, set up everything. Like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy a movie. And when he began to shine on the sun, guys, I was shouting. I was literally shouting, fuck. I'm glad you pointed out the gun thing out. He telegraphs everything. His smile is cursed. So, by the way, regarding Thomas Ian Griffith, okay, let's Google the guy. I think that I might seen him, but at the same time, maybe not. Guys, I don't remember the guy. No, I don't remember him at all. Turned on notifications so I can stop missing these lives. Way to go. How do you like your drugs and women, sir? Served in palace, please. The poster has parts of the Matrix in it. All right, behind him. Right, there are those lines from Matrix. Seagal and V crossover. Twilight is an insult to Vampire King. But I got it why why girls. I thought that girls were praising it. It's just because they were surrounding me, and I spoke mostly with girls. Not mostly, but they were all over there. And I thought some of them had some pretty nice taste in movies. And when they recommended me the movie, oh, thanks for hearts, guys. Now I see how it looks. Pretty neat. So that can be a decent movie. And after all that hype, before being able to read reviews, because back those days in 2007 I didn't have internet in my place. Yeah, I didn't have internet. I had to go for internet to my friends. Twilight is for teenage girls, I can't stand it. Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be so pissed about the movie. If I knew from the very beginning that it was meant to be for girls, like those 50 Shades of Grey, right? I haven't seen the movie. I haven't watched it. I haven't watched Titanic when it was released. I tried several times. I had several attempts with girlfriends who knew that I didn't watch Titanic, and what the hell, you didn't watch Titanic? Are you nuts? Let's watch it together. And just mostly, at most I watched 30 or 40 minutes. It was my maximum. I had like 5 attempts. My last attempt was in the middle of zeros. I wouldn't even just bother with the movie, but it was hyped so much by everybody that it was about vampires and werewolves. While Seagul's Against the Dark is an insult even to the worst zombie movies. Zombie movies? What the hell are you talking about? Are you going to tell me that Steven Seagal was in a zombie movie? Uh, 50 Shades of Grey is based on a fanfic of Twilight. Really? I know it is based on a book, just like Twilight. But I think that it is fine for girls to watch their movies, just like I don't know many girls who were very hyped about Bloodsport or Terminator. I don't know any girl whom I would say what wouldn't be that obvious movie. Okay, Bloodsport. I haven't seen any girl who watched Bloodsport. Don't waste your time with 50 Shades. I'm not going to. No, that's not in my radar anytime. It is way too It's going to be way too boring. I refuse myself to watch any movies nowadays. At best, I'll watch videos from YouTubers such as you. But I like to watch Martin Scorsese movies. Like, for my enjoyment, I would watch his movies. I don't know why. Not that I'm fond of gangsters or something, but I just like how he... And he didn't made movies only about gangsters as well. I liked... of course I liked Wolf from Wall Street. But I also liked Irishman as well. So if I would I can watch, and I'm waiting for his movie. With a complicated name. I know how it sounds in Russian. I don't remember how it sounds in English. But, well, the newest Martin Scorsese movie. I refuse myself to. Well, okay. I never saw werewolves turn into real wolves. They are well, not real wolves. Yeah, they all mostly turn into some kind of monsters, fury. The creatures in Against the Dark are zombies or some sort, not vampires like some people think, but like I said, the movie is an insult to the entire genre. Vampires? So there are movies with Steven Seagal with aliens and zombies / vampires. That's the whole new ground for me. I am a wolf. We have one lonely wolf in front of us. You can see him. Looks a little bit like a penguin, but mostly he is a lone wolf. Just saw Shutter Island. What a movie. Right. Shutter Island is a very good example. With DiCaprio also, who is one of the best actors. The classics are good though. I've watched a lot of them. Like, what classics are you talking about? Like 50s, 60s? Because I actually can't watch movies from that period. 70s, I can watch Taxi Driver from 70s. I can rewatch it. But for me, classics is starting from 80s for now. The creatures in Attack Force are really vampombis. Okay, I'm going to watch it later, but no more spoilers right now. This sounds very, very interesting. Attack Force, like legit aliens with Steven Seagal. I can't even imagine. If you think about it, showing some Aikido against the zombies would be something like Shaun of the Dead. It could be kind of fun, or Zombieland, for example. By the way, I didn't watch the second part of the movie. I should give it a try, by the way. He even kills a zombie kid. When it is a zombie, you should always remember, he's not a kid anymore. This is the first rule. Don't consider them to be living human beings. I have an idea. Steven Seagal versus science. I just don't know what science is. So the movie with the zombies is called Against the Dark. Attack Force is another. Yeah, I got it. Just over here we have a poster with Attack Force, and I just remembered that it was aliens in it. Aliens. Oh, so aliens raised from Dragon Ball. Okay, got it. So, it is almost 3 o'clock. And I have two options. Right now I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, guys. I watched it when it was released, but now I rewatch it with pleasure. After watching the whole Better Call Saul, now enjoying Breaking Bad, knowing what was the future of each character. It's pretty dope. So I have two options, either to take my popcorn and watch some Breaking Bad, or to watch Shadow Man review from Space Ice with you guys. So let me go off for just 1 minute. Do you hear a lot of background noise? And what's with the sound? Is it okay? Or should I adjust it, because I don't hear myself, but can see some background noise? But right now I have closed the window, so there are no cars, but the fridge is quite loud, and also air conditioning. Probably this is the noise. Not much I can do about it. If I turn the fridge off, I will forget to turn it back. Yeah, and it is quite a task, because the plug is really behind it. Anyway, I sound is good. Okay. Nice. Let's keep going with the space ice, because I have space ice in my title. Yes, in title to this stream I have space ice, and also I put it on the thumbnail, so he has to be on the stream. We don't want to disappoint the guy, right? Making fun of the great one is what matters here. Nice. Nice. We are in the same page, bro.
Is the Steven Seagal movie where he finally showed the world that somebody really needs to stop him. And holy shit,
That's a good phrase.
this movie is
Shows the world that somebody really needs to stop him.
complete garbage.
That's syphilis.
No, it's not. It starts with Seagal rambling complete nonsense to these poor students.
Chi, it can be used to kill people. This is the nature of chi, where you can go internal.
While Seagal
Yeah. Also, he not only just rambles nonsense about chi, but that it heals people. You can make up anything with those fictional terms. I mean, yeah, chi, okay, yes, but he was talking about Dimmak, which was called a touch of death in Bloodsport, and I think that it was the origin of Dimmak. And Seagal was trying to convince his students that it can also heal.
goes around randomly
Bob Lacotti, hey to you.
assaulting his students. One of them tries to out-nonsense him by doing the really weird thing of holding a watermelon through.
I thought that outdone him by doing a really weird thing, asking him a question. Because next time you want to ask Steven Seagal a question, think twice. Because one of those students ended up being dead. And that comedian we were talking about in the last stream ended up in the pond. He could bear a phone with him, by the way. Anybody thought about that?
Throughout the entire class. Wow.
Dimmak doesn't heal as far as I know. It was literally meant to be a death touch of death. It's supposed to be, I don't know from what language, but it is supposed to be translated like touch of death. It is fictional but extremely deadly punch.
Well, that was a dick move. It blew this guy's mind.
I was very impressed with the way you broke the watermelon.
The way he backhanded that watermelon was truly something special.
Can you teach me?
Could anybody want to try to hide that watermelon was broken before Steven touched it?
Truly something special.
See, it was already broken. I just touched it.
Can you teach me?
Of course he will. Nothing's more important to
Teach?
Seagal.
You are here to learn something? You're here to stumble, to somersault from my hand wavings.
Than his students. Just kidding. Fuck you.
Just kidding.
After killing him, he waddles around, murdering the rest of his students.
Okay,
and
Space Ice.
kicking
He
them
didn't
right in the
murder
nuts.
all of them. Only the
This
first
is
one.
Seagal's friend in the CIA. When he's not hacking into the Matrix, he's hacking into IRS.com, which he thinks is the actual IRS.
I can wipe out any taxes owed.
But he doesn't have time for that because this 24-year-old woman desperately needs a piece of that Seagal ass right this second. Just another day in the life of Lord Steven. Seagal flies out to Romania with it.
Why all the girls in his movies have to be twice as young as him? What's the big...
His daughter to celebrate the 5-year anniversary.
And why do they have to be there anyway? Because this girl, we had seen her in the beginning of the movie when she drove a horse to his daughter. That's it.
Of her mother's death.
I lost a wife, she lost a mother.
Even the movie realizes just how stupid that is.
It's the 5-year anniversary of her death.
Oh, please.
But whatever. Seagal's once again saved by his own incompetence when he loses his passport.
Forgot my passport. Come back and help me look for it.
Yeah. I forgot I lost my passport. Come back and find it for me. Because I can't walk into the airport and look it for him.
Right when his taxi explodes. Even though his father-in-law was inside at the time, it's somehow never mentioned again. Then another taxi
His father-in-law somehow survived it. At the end of the movie, he pointed the gun at Seagal, at the Great One. But how he survived the car explosion had never been relieved.
kidnaps
Revealed.
Seagal's daughter. Romania, your taxis really need to get their shit together.
I paid attention on taxes right from the start of the movie in my review. I didn't know that it was going to be a big deal.
Luckily,
Later on,
Seagal
though.
runs into an old friend of his
Jack, what are you doing here?
who's at the airport for
Seagal? This is not Seagal, guys. This is not Seagal.
Jack, what are you doing here?
who's at the airport for unexplained reasons, and together they carjack this guy, just like in the good old days. These motorcycles also get in on it, and it's not clear who they're even chasing. What is clear is whoever's running this green screen needs to calm the f down. Now we know the motorcycles are on
Need to calm the fuck down.
Seagal's side and helping chase down the kidnapper, so his buddy does things the Seagal way and just starts blasting at them. And any poor son of a bitch out for a walk
Just
that
look
day.
at this green screen.
Any poor son
This is not from the movie Space Ice. You're fooling us. But just look at this green screen. It is like it has come from 50s.
of a bitch out for a walk that day.
Maybe it wasn't even a green screen. Maybe
No.
it was an actual screen like they did in the movies in the past.
That those friendly bikers are dead, another car comes from out of nowhere and is now a part of this too.
Why not?
Their passenger also does things the Seagal way by not having any idea where he's shooting, but I'm pretty sure it's the hood of his own car. Seagal knows exactly what to do when the car behind you is shooting at you.
He reminds me of our first president Yeltsin.
Slam on the brakes so they can get as close as possible. And according to the green screen, they also pull off a 6-720 and keep going without even slowing down. That fakes the other car out so much that it magically jumps over this car and lands safely into this convenient mound of dirt. Seagal was having such a blast killing innocent people that he lost track of his daughter. And you can tell he's really broken up about it. Now the cops are coming.
Come on, the cops are coming.
And they need to get the out of there.
We'll go to the safe house, refuel, and we'll get out of here. Come on.
Seagal's suspicious of his friend.
Where's my daughter?
Just before that, the kidnapper, the taxi driver, kidnapped his daughter. She flee away. After that, there was explosion. Then they ran to the car, played GTA in real life. By the way, nobody paid attention on the guy who Steven Seagal threw out of his own car. The guy was owning the car. And Steven Seagal doesn't give a damn about it. Just throws it away, like CJ. Yeah, I feel sorry for the guy. He probably worked hard for this car, but Steven Seagal is now owning it and drives around to the palace. Did anybody actually return it to him? Paid for gas which was used, for damages. Okay. Anyway, so somehow they still caught on this taxi driver. But after that, they stopped for literally half minute, maybe even less than that. And she managed to get away. He just told, fuck. Yeah. At that point, I thought that car was damaged and it wouldn't move further. But then they just drove away to sit here, enjoy some whiskey.
You think I know?
Since he played his backstabbing friend in the last movie they did together.
You know something, Fitz? You ain't nothing but a trailer park bitch.
And Seagal knows he has zero creativity.
Just sit tight. I'll be back within the hour.
And wouldn't you know it, that sneaky son of a bitch locked Seagal in. Since this wooden door is also metal and 300 pounds of Seagal is no match for this flimsy piece of wood, so he's definitely done for. But no.
Son of a bitch.
Stephen Hawking Seagal puts that brain to...
This is also not Steven Seagal, and they used this exact shot for both of those windows. It's exactly the same shots. Twice in a row.
Work and start sciencing the shit out of everything in the room like a wild ape. This guy tries to tell Seagal that the room has several other doors that are unlocked that he can leave through and to please stop wrecking his home. But Seagal doesn't want to hear it.
Good job noticing the guy. I didn't notice them.
After yanking the plumbing out of the wall with one fucking hand, he's ready to start inventing some really stupid shit. He comes across shotgun shells, giant flashlights, a gas cylinder for welding, and an old school phonograph.
It was so useless. All of it. What he had done, it was all useless because we all really know that Steven Seagal doesn't need any of this shit. Nobody is going to do any harm to him. They would all just stand still and waiting for him to pick their guns and push them. Just...
You know, normal kitchen shit. these guys burst in, and Seagal goes full Kevin McAllister on them as they bumble their way through the room like complete idiots.
That's syphilis.
It's not syphilis. Seagal takes out the other bad guy by shooting this realistic shotgun straight up into his abdomen. Even though there was...
Yeah, I also made fun of this because the pipe went up with a boing.
an explosion and shotgun blast. The guy right outside is caught completely off guard by Seagal, who magically appears behind him.
This is not Seagal. You see? Like here? Can anybody believe that it is Seagal? And also, I think that the outfit of Seagal was only one of a kind because it is quite unique, let's be real. And it always looks a little bit bulky on his stunt doubles. Look at those pants. They look like he is a rapper from 90s. Or just Seagal shed his pants.
He appears behind him. He slips up when telling Seagal why they took his daughter.
To get what George gave you.
And Seagal figures out he's in on it.
How do you know anybody gave me anything?
Which is great, because everyone else figured it out when he locked you in that fucking kitchen. They kidnapped her because they think he has something that can give people cancer and kill them within 6 months.
That's syphilis.
It's not syphilis. They don't actually say what it is, but I'm pretty sure it's his movies.
Yeah.
So Seagal flips the script, and now he has 2 hours to get Seagal's daughter.
You understand? Yeah.
Right. He orders the guy like he is a delivery courier. I want my daughter here in 2 hours. You're 10 minutes late. You're 10 minutes late. You get no tips. He doesn't really give a crap about his daughter. Neither did he give any crap about his daughter in Belle of the Beasts, when he hung out in different establishments with girls in clubs and pubs. How does it work in his mind? I don't understand. He has to be in some kind of hurry, but instead of that, he feels calm. Maybe this is Zen. We all need to move forward, move towards to. The story of Friend Duke's alleged fighter. No, the whole story wasn't. The whole story. Are you guys arguing about D-Mac? It is fake. Yes. Was the first movie ever in which D-Mac was shown? I thought some BS Ninja B movie showed it first. Yeah, as I recall, it was mentioned somewhere before Frank Dukes did it. I think D-Mac was mentioned somewhere, maybe in 70s or something, maybe even 60s. But it got a good spotlight only after Bloodsport. It's still a good movie though, even if it didn't happen in real life. Bloodsport was my favorite movie. I watched it more than 1,000 times. For certain. I can be certain about that. More than 1,000 times. Do people even watch movies more than 5 times nowadays? when there are a lot of movies available. I had a few VHSs, but Bloodsport was my way to go. Sometimes I watched it twice in a row, because I don't think that I would watch any movie in a period of at least 5 years. I rewatched some of movies, but in distance of 10 years. Back those days, I could watch it every day. I knew every single move of every single fight. I could exactly repeat them. This is insane. But nevertheless, I think that Bloodsport is a good mix of good choreography and one of the best music I've ever heard. Jean-Claude, well, I watched it mostly for Bolo Yan. I loved Jean-Claude Van Damme, but I loved Bolo Yan much more.
2 hours.
Even though she's the one being held hostage, Seagal has no leverage, and none of this makes any fucking sense. Seagal then goes for a walk when the law finally catches up with him. You know they're police because of their official police car and this crooked sticker that sort of looks like a badge. They forgot to write the dialogue for this scene, and nobody says a word. No idea what the that was about. But now he's reporting his daughter missing when the kidnapper just walks in.
Excuse me.
Why am I here? Yeah,
She doesn't even know where she...
I also had that question. Why she was there? And if it happens, why was Steven Seagal there also? Because of hijacking a car from that poor guy? Nobody seems to give any crap about it. And he hasn't been asked about it.
She came from, or why the fuck she's there. But
If we talk about Van Damme movies, his peak two movies were Hard Target and Maximum Risk. I think that Hard Target was on kind of a decline. I hate to say it, but I've watched A Wall, or how it was, Lionheart. Yeah, Lionheart in the Western and other countries. In our country, it was A Wall. And I think that Kickboxer and Bloodsport and Universal Soldier was his best movie. Were his best movies. Many people say that they love Hard Target, but I didn't like it at all. I don't know why. Maybe because, I don't know, maybe it was too mature. I was 9 years old when it was released. And as for Maximum Risk, I don't even recall the movie. That will, yeah. After Hard Target, it kind of disappeared from my radar. Maybe it was the end of the action movie, B-action movie era for me. Like Hard Target symbolized the end of this era. Because it was meh. Maybe I should try to give it a try and watch it again, but I don't think that it is. I can rewatch Bloodsport still. Oh, Double Impact. Because there was also Bolo Yan, of course. But Double Impact also is pretty good. But I think that his fights with Bolo Yan were not very convenient as for Bloodsport and as for Double Impact as well. They could have left Boloyan show off a little bit more than they did in both of those movies. And back those days, and still, I think that they didn't let Boloyan fight at his full capacity, or at least his half capacity, because him defeating Van Damme wouldn't look realistic. But back those days I was like, what? How could he defeat him so easily? And Boloyan didn't even make any resistance to him. You could perform the split scotch punch. I couldn't repeat them like they should be. I mean, I couldn't pretend that I repeated them, okay? I could pretend. Like I see the fighter, I could do a move, and in my mind it would be like the one I see on TV. It wouldn't be, but in real life it would be something like Steven Seagal demonstrates. Embarrassing and cringy. But I mean, I knew what I was doing. I guess we have quite different tastes in movies. Everybody has. What really matters though is that we share the same opinion about the big one. You should watch Hard Target again though. Probably. Yeah, I think that the movie was too mature for me. And Van Damme was not the same. He was grown up with longer hair, and I didn't like this look of him also. You'd also watch Maximum Risk, but for both movies, I made a whole video about Van Damme's movie career, and there were some movies that I didn't watch, like the one with the hockey. Are you talking about it? I don't recall how it was. Also something about death in the name of the movie. But the hockey team also were penguins. Was it penguin? He was fighting with How about Van Damme as Jules? I hasn't seen it any VHS. I didn't see any trailer of this movie. We're talking about Street Fighter. It wasn't a big thing in our country at all. I haven't heard about it from anybody. Mortal Kombat, yes, it was a big deal. But as for Street Fighter, I only found out about it in 2010, and was very surprised that it was a very big deal. And at first I looked at it, only saw screenshots and thought, wow, it looks pretty colorful. Maybe it was a kind of a good movie, but no, it was era of YouTube, and I already knew. I saw only reviews of it as one of the worst movies and stuff, so I didn't give it a try. I don't know, Van Damme kinda disappeared after Hard Target in our country, I guess. Yeah, I stopped seeing VHSs with him. As for the movie, what was that? The movie which he wrote the screenplay for? Island? Where he is in the beginning of 20th century, like 2010th, 2020s or 1920s. I haven't seen anything about it, but I think that I would love it. At least I would like it. Even back those days, what was that? In 1997? By that time, Van Damme completely disappeared. Time Cop, yeah, I kinda remember Time Cop. I watched it, but it also wasn't a big deal. As for example, Double Impact, it was heavily advertised. Evolve wasn't that much advertised. Double Impact, Hard Target was heavily advertised. Heavily. But after that, I didn't see any advertisement. Universal Soldier was all over the place. I remember it was a big deal. Time Cop, no. Somewhere on TV, many years later, I caught up with it and watched, like, from the middle, I guess. Wasn't impressed by that, and that was it. Pretty sad. Now the one with the hockey was called Sudden Death. Right, yes, Sudden Death things. Maximum Risk, though. What was that about, Maximum Risk? Time Cop was pretty good too, however, I liked the sequel more, which had Thomas Ian Griffith as the main antagonist. So you bro, then really fond of that guy. Just like me, is pretty fond of Bolo Yan, and nobody. I was a big fan of him. There were people who were big fans of Jean-Claude Van Damme, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I knew my best friend was a big fan of what was he? God damn it. The guy who played the Russian boxer in Rocky. Anyway, and I was a big fan of Balayan. Well, every time I saw a movie on TV and there was Balayan and like in one of a role, it was a must watch. The movie where the action takes place at the beginning. Quest, right? Yes, the Quest. Thank you so much, Dan. Right, the Quest. True. So it wasn't advertised at all. Legionnaire was advertised. I clearly remember that Legionnaire was a big deal, but I didn't watch it. It was too late for me, for Van Damme. Legionnaire I remember. Rather than that, unfortunately, no movie. He completely disappeared. Bolo Yan was a personal friend of Bruce Lee. Yeah, they were not besties, but they were more close in mind of Boloyan, I guess, than in reality. But yeah, only later I found out more about Boloyan, because there was no internet, of course, and I could only see him in movies, and there was no information about him anywhere. Who he is, how old he was. I was really impressed that he was 40 in Bloodsport. And I thought, what a good shape. For me, back those days, 40 was kind of an old guy, and now I'm close to this age, and I think that it is quite young. But back those days I thought, wow, he doesn't look like an old man. He was 40 and he looked kind of the same age as Jean-Claude Van Damme. Jean-Claude Van Damme also looked kind of old in Bloodsport. Dolph Lundgren stinks a lot again. Right, Dolph Lundgren. It is 3:30 in the morning, so I'm a little bit dim-witted, maybe. Ivan Drago, right. In Maximum Risk, Van Damme plays a French cop who goes against the Russian mob in New York to avenge his brother. Plot of that movie is actually quite interesting. French cop who goes against Russian mob. I don't recall any movie with Van Damme opposing Russian mafia. No. But this name does ring some bell.
But it's a Seagal movie where nobody knows why anything happens and nothing ever makes sense. So Seagal does what he does best. Murders the police.
Yeah, because he can go he can go away with anything.
Double after the kidnapper.
You see? What the fuck is this? They don't even hide him.
Damn it, he lost her, and as punishment, Seagal makes his body double walk all the way to the meetup spot. The backstabbing friend brings his own backstabbing friends along.
Sorry, Harry.
And now Seagal's fighting another of his students, and we get an all-time Seagal shootout where neither one wastes time aiming or even looking where they're shooting. They either play the same clip of Seagal over and over, or he's running laps around this circle like a fucking idiot. That confuses this guy so much that he forgets why he's even there.
Why would filmmakers use the same clips of him revealing curtains and revealing the bricked window, or like this? Here I didn't notice that there was the same shots, but it is so fucking weird.
And just fucking bails. Now we find out that she didn't actually kidnap his daughter.
I didn't kidnap you. I saved you from getting hurt.
Why the fuck were you keeping that a secret? You know what? Who cares? So while she's raising Seagal's daughter,
She doesn't keep it a secret, right? Space Eye. She reveals it. But I can say that the same reason were for some serial killers. They also saved their victims, saved them from different
doing
things.
Seagal things.
I want you to take me someplace where I can find some drugs and some women.
But
Women.
don't worry, he's just saying that. What he really wants is
Sometimes,
to go
most of the time, Seagal doesn't move his mouth a lot. He's just mumbling. But at some random point, he just opens it or makes really out of touch move with the mouth. Like here, there's some women. Or he just would say something like, laugh. That's one of those weird Seagal things. And I noticed while making making videos about him, I don't make movies.
on a fucking murder spree. He just starts killing everyone for no reason.
But it is more appropriate than him killing cops in their police station.
Is in such a crazed state that he even kills his body double. Then, in a scene that wasn't supposed to be a part of the movie, Seagal tries to make off with the laundered money funding this whole scam. This isn't the first time he's pulled this.
Yeah, not so fast.
Ready for it.
Probably they would want to have some more security for these piles of money on the table with this old lady with headphones. Who counts money with headphones on? You have to be a little bit like focused, right? To be able to hear your own thoughts. Not only the trash and destroy which Steven Seagal makes in the nearest room, the next room, while taking care of those mafia gangs.
But she's seen too many of his movies and blindly fires into nothing. It's never explained why he did any of this. It has nothing to do.
Why does he
with
cover his eyes when all of those shots are they make in post-production most of the shots? So Sensei Seagal today made a post where he wanted us to reply to the question, what would you ask Steven Seagal if you had 1 hour with him in meeting in person? You could ask him for something or anything. Like what would be your thoughts, guys? I would have so many questions.
his daughter, and it never comes up again. Now that he got these senseless murders out of his system, he tells the taxi driver...
I think that he did all of that just to give the taxi driver some money. But at the end of the day, he gave him like $10. They were dollars, $1 bill each, and he told him, buy mom a condominium. Like with this? What kind of condominium? Made out of carton? Under the bridge?
To take him to the lady that took his daughter.
So why don't you take me to her right away?
Which I guess he could have done at any time. He continues his violent crime spree, and when this bartender doesn't know every person in Romania...
There's a female taxi driver, her name is Anya, you ever heard of her?
No.
He gets knocked the fuck out. That's it.
This distinct sound.
Tips her off to get the fuck out of there, and she goes the one place Seagal can't. The ladies' room. But the joke's on her. Making women uncomfortable is one of his favorite things to do, so he...
Yeah, when he entered there, he told, what are you looking at? Move out, fast! Big Papa in the house.
Just walks right in like he doesn't give a shit. Now that she's been caught, she finally tells Seagal her demands.
Would you kindly mind to leave women's restroom if you want to talk? Couldn't he wait outside for her?
You've got to get me a passport and you've got to get me to America.
Well, that's really fucking stupid. Then again, it's a Seagal movie. It could have been so much worse.
That's syphilis.
Yeah, kinda. Anyways, luckily for Seagal, she backs out of her own deal for some reason.
I'll think about it.
So we don't have to watch Seagal fumble through a bunch of paperwork.
What was the movie where he...
Some reason.
I'll think about it.
What's
so
this
we don't
movie?
have to watch Seagal fumble.
I also used it in one of my video, but I found the clip on the internet. It looks so ridiculous, just like him holding a phone. Also, you see this, just like Sensei Seagal tells, sausage fingers. They don't really move.
Through a bunch of paperwork, and he can get straight to choking her. Remember, she didn't really kidnap his daughter,
I didn't kidnap you. I saved you from getting hurt.
so none of this makes any fucking sense. So now these guys come in and think, wow, this is convenient, and they start suffocating her too. And now they're suddenly best friends.
We'll go to my place.
The movie doesn't bother explaining how we get from this to this. Ah! It's probably fucking syphilis.
That's syphilis.
The police attempt to rescue Seagal's daughter by breaking into her apartment. But they discover she's already been moved. At this point, Seagal says "F the plot and any coherency" when Seagal and the kidnapper show up just to execute the police.
This was the move I was talking about earlier. You see, all the Aikido is limited by raising hand. He raises hand, and the guys stumble upon it, and falls down. Because this is all it takes to win a street fight.
Now that Seagal's dark urges have been suppressed, and because this movie has no budget, they go back to the safe house that belongs to the people trying to kill him. He then has a love scene with the woman who kidnapped his fucking daughter.
That's the least bad thing Steven Seagal made in his movies, let's be real. But the fact he is making love and drinks some whiskey while his daughter is being kidnapped, and this woman knows where she is, and he doesn't even hurry up. This is one of the worst, I guess. I can't come up with any idea of a character being worse than that. Even slapping an innocent barman for not knowing a random taxi driver girl is not that bad as this. This is the worst.
Still won't tell him where she is. While that very Seagal thing is happening, his daughter is kidnapped from the kidnapper. Seagal then finds out that everyone's after this chip that his father-in-law snuck
This is it.
onto his
This is the centerpiece.
phone. If it ends up in the wrong hands,
Lots of people will die.
so it's definitely his unreleased movies, which are so devastating that Romania sends a fucking attack helicopter.
Who the hell sent the helicopter? What was it doing there? I still don't understand, because they exactly had negotiated with everybody who can had it. The whole helicopter thing was so random, so pointless, and so dumb at the end when he shot it out with a gun.
It's thrown off by seeing Seagal's body double from the front for way too long. Their gunner is also the fucking worst, and I have no idea what he's even aiming at. Seagal uses his body double as a diversion, and while the gunner is still firing into the ground, even though nobody's fucking there, He sneaks up behind it and with his surface-to-air missile handgun, blows the helicopter the fuck up.
It is a dim mak. I got it. This is a dim mak.
So now, Seagal sets up a meeting with the latest kidnappers.
Story time's over.
And immediately kills them. They were somehow not prepared for any of this. This guy just starts shooting the lady running upstairs instead of Seagal, who's killing them and is right in front of him. Oh, it. Cause now the shocking twist is that the grandfather was behind everything.
This was Waters' deal. I didn't trust Harry or him, so I had you act as his courier. I knew if I had Harry grab the girl, you'd wreak havoc.
That makes zero.
I still don't understand what? So at the beginning they meet at the airport. At the beginning, the father-in-law gives Seagal the poison formula or something. Anyway, this thing which was hidden in a stylus. You want to tell me that you can't carry it on airplane by yourself? To carry it to another country, you need to give it to a guy who is overqualified for any thing, who is a special agent, who is against any criminal deals and is definitely not punching random innocent people. You give it to him to carry it instead of you to another country. Then what? Who wanted? Just blow the car up, making sure that... What were they thinking about that blowing the thing with the formula which was delivered from United States to Romania? They blow car. After that they what? Kidnapped the daughter. After that he survived. You guys, you have the idea, even if he has any involvement in the script writing, it doesn't make any sense still, because the whole plot is a complete nonsense. The whole storyline doesn't make any sense. What was the initial plan? Okay, I got it. There are three structures wanted to get their hands on a secret formula of crabby poison. But how were they... what was their plan to get their hand on it? And look at those bloated eyes. The eye bags. They are triple eye bags.
Fucking sense. One, you left out the whole exploding car thing, where we saw you die. Two, you all would have blown the fuck up if Seagal wasn't an idiot who dropped his passport. And three, how the fuck does she fit into any of this?
Exactly the same thing I was wondering about. Space Ice just reads minds.
Brilliant strategy.
No, it's not. It's really fucking stupid. Whatever. He dies the same way as Seagal's ass-kissing student.
I was very impressed with the way you broke the watermelon.
A gun?
Now it's all over,
Dimmak.
and he's on a picnic with his daughter. And holy fuck, that's a lot of food.
We had a couple of little...
We have
glitches,
Steven
but all
Seagal
of them
there.
had a pretty good time, didn't we?
Yeah.
She was kidnapped twice, and her grandfather was killed. But it was still so much better than spending it with Seagal. Now this piece of shit can finally end.
That's syphilis.
Sometimes I can see that Space Ice can't handle his emotions towards Steven Seagal, the great one. Just like me, but I edited a lot after revising my scripts for the videos about the movies, because sometimes they contain some contemplation towards the guy. But also I wanna say that I also release videos with drafts before cutting, because sometimes I cut not only after I write scripts for videos, but after I make those videos drafts, and I release them for members of the channel. I just recently decided that I would do that for those people who would want to see such things. Just wanted to remind you guys. Alex is precisely because the plots makes absolutely no sense that I think he personally influences the script of his movies. I mean, his personal influence can be the only explanation for that. Those scripts are made like they are made by really delusional guys. I don't really understand. Like when they were making Room for Tommy Wiseau, everybody on set knew that it is a mess and it is kind of weird and stupid as shit. But it was just only one movie. When Steven Seagal made 40 movies, more than 40 movies. And there is also Under Siege 3. Coming up, or Above the Law 2. Something that he is bragging about like he has been bragging about for 15 years or something. Logic and Seagal are like olive oil and water. Plus a whole pineapple. Okay, guys, we watched both of the reviews. It was quite a fun. I think I will make such online streams also from time to time, right? Liked it a lot. And so see you next time, guys. Bye, Brian, Dan, author, Saul Caliber. There was also Brandon, like Bob Lacotti, the guy from Belarus, Melazon. And of course Mariam from Brazil, bro. Some of you have a nice day, some of you have a nice night. See you.